Some reports are already going around about Bray Wyatt's potential WrestleMania plans. So we'll see what's going on there. We'll also check out the latest with The Rock, Rey Mysterio, and more. Let's start things off with this early report for Bray Wyatt's potential WrestleMania plans. So it's been rumored for a long time now that Code Orange, the band who created Bray Wyatt's current theme, could be performing the song live during Bray's entrance at WrestleMania 39. That's something that the fans have been talking about for a long time now. But of course, the bigger question is, who will Bray Wyatt be facing at WrestleMania 39? He's obviously not going to be in the main event title picture, so where exactly does he fall on the card, and who will he face? Well, one of the biggest rumored WrestleMania opponents for Bray Wyatt is no other than Uncle Howdy himself. Bray Wyatt versus Uncle Howdy is allegedly one of the potential routes that WWE could go in for WrestleMania. Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy basically have been at war with each other literally since the first night of Bray's return at Extreme Rules. Howdy was the one that appeared on the television set inside the abandoned Firefly Funhouse set, and Bray ended up coming out moments later, and since then it's been this back and forth battle between Bray, who was trying to do good and be better, against Howdy, who was stopping at nothing to get Bray back to his old ways. And stepping in between that battle came along LA Knight. Bray appeared to be friendly towards LA Knight, even offering him what sounded like a partnership offer. But LA Knight rudely declined the offer. Uncle Howdy was aggressive towards LA Knight immediately after that first interaction with Bray Wyatt went down. Uncle Howdy attacked LA Knight several times backstage, which really showed us how different Howdy was when compared to Bray Wyatt at that specific time. Bray was all about giving people second chances and letting them apologize, while Howdy was all about brutal beatdowns. And of course, one of the other theories was that Bray Wyatt was Uncle Howdy, how it was the same act that he pulled off with The Fiend, where he pretended it was two individuals, when in reality, it was him playing both roles. So that's immediately what LA Knight called out. He said he wasn't going to fall for it again, and how he knows it's just Bray Wyatt with a mask. But then of course we got the big reveal that Bray was telling the truth, and how it really was a completely separate individual. And when Bray still wasn't following Howdy's sense of direction that he was trying to push on Bray, that's when Howdy obviously attacked Bray Wyatt. So it's like we've been saying for weeks now, LA Knight is like a mini boss in Bray's story. Uncle Howdy definitely seems like the main antagonist and boss in Bray's overall story. So once Bray gets LA Knight out of the way, maybe Bray could focus his undivided attention towards Uncle Howdy, and maybe that's where Howdy versus Bray's match could start to form. Everything we've seen from October till current day has basically been Bray versus Howdy. So the foundation for the match and feud is basically already there. So that's why the reports about a Bray Wyatt versus Uncle Howdy match actually seem like a realistic possibility. It really does make sense to take place when you look back at everything we've already seen. Although Bray is coming back to the dark side, there still seems to be some disconnection there between him and Howdy. Plus, you add the Alexa Bliss dynamic into Bray and Howdy's feud, and that also makes things more interesting. Like it's been revealed to us in recent weeks, Uncle Howdy is actively coming after Alexa Bliss, trying to help her out and get on her good side. So the burning question everyone has been asking for several weeks now is, what's Howdy's plan with Alexa Bliss? Is he only coming after her because he needs her help with something involving Bray Wyatt? Maybe Howdy wants the Fiend back. He knows that Alexa is his weakness, so maybe he figured capturing Alexa would make the Fiend come out of hiding. Or maybe he simply wants Alexa to be his right hand, and they'll raise more terror than Bray and Alexa ever did as a duo. Or maybe Alexa Bliss herself will be torn between both sides of Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy. Maybe the WrestleMania match between Howdy and Bray will determine who gets Alexa Bliss to their side, and who gets full control. And especially if Uncle Howdy really does turn out to be Bo Dallas. It'll also be quite a cool career accomplishment for both brothers to go one-on-one with each other on the grand stage of WrestleMania. That itself would be pretty amazing for both Bray and Bo Dallas. So a lot of fans weren't liking the idea of Bray versus Howdy at WrestleMania, but depending on how the story continues to unfold, how Alexa Bliss comes into the fold, maybe it could all work out to the point where a match between Howdy and Bray at WrestleMania would be the perfect choice for the story and for Bray's direction. So it's an interesting early rumor for Bray Wyatt's WrestleMania 39 plans, but we'll have to see how that goes, especially after the feud with LA Knight is complete. Over the last few days, there's been a lot of positive signs and hints about a WWE return from The Rock happening in 2023. But for the first time, there's actually a negative report on his return. Wrestling Observer Radio reports that the latest from The Rock in regards to a return is that he allegedly doesn't feel like he's in shape for a big WrestleMania match, and how the deadline to lock in WrestleMania plans is quickly approaching, and how he'll miss the deadline. So after a few weeks of a lot of positive hints, this is the first report that seems to imply that it's not happening. A lot of fans are still holding out hope that this is just a cover-up story, since everyone was becoming so aware of The Rock's return. Obviously, The Rock and his team are not going to release a statement confirming all the return rumors, so it's sort of expected to hear those sorts of negative stories from his side. We saw a similar situation last year with the big signing and return of Cody Rhodes. In the weeks leading up to WrestleMania 38, it was an absolute mess surrounding Cody's return. One week was that Cody signed with WWE and will be at WrestleMania 38. Then the next week, the story was that Cody pulled out of the deal. And then the following week was that he was still scheduled to appear. So it was just a mess of back and forth reports because they were trying their best to keep everything wrapped up. So maybe that's the idea of The Rock's return. Maybe it's still a possibility. But they're going to release stories like this so that they can surprise you even more. Maybe that's the case, or maybe he really isn't showing up after all. It can go either way, but that's the latest there on The Rock's 2023 return. Rey Mysterio and Dominik have been on separate brands for a few months now. Rey obviously left Raw because he couldn't deal with his son coming after him every week. But their feud and story with each other has been quietly continuing outside of the ring. You had the Thanksgiving Day attack where Dominik and Rhea Ripley attacked Rey inside his home. And then you had the following failed attack from Dominik that resulted in Dom getting arrested. And that arrest has actually affected Dominik's on-screen character, because now he's of course pretending to be a hardcore criminal that did hard time. Well, Rey Mysterio recently reacted to Dominik's recent antics on SmackDown and said that as a father, he's heartbroken. But as a man, Rey Mysterio is tired of Dominik's BS. With Rey Mysterio rumored to be coming towards the end of his career, fans still feel like we'll see Dominik versus Rey Mysterio at least one time before Rey hangs up the boots for good, especially with the way Rey is starting to change his feelings towards Dominik. That could be a good sign that he may be willing to get into the ring with him. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.